We are live doing the healthy tips and habits for the holidays. This was a popular request. So since a lot of the parties and all the things have started already, then tonight is a good time to get started on that overall discussion. So just some quick housekeeping tips. So just remember that up above in the group, we've got the guides section. The guides, underneath the guides section, there is all the things that we do in the group nicely filed so that you don't need to scroll through the feed throughout the week or even the month to find specific things. We have lots of videos up underneath the live video section. We also have things like client successes and testimonials. We have program outlines. We have the fitness challenges all up there. We've got plenty of other things underneath the guides, like the recipes and all the things. So make sure that you guys check out the guides when you're looking for something specific. Everything is there. So on Wednesdays, I'm going to be conducting the lives by myself, and then Penny, my business partner, is going to be doing the Friday coaching corner. So she started the coaching corner back a few weeks ago. So we've divided up our duties, and so we're going to be focusing on the two different lives throughout the week. Okay, so let's dive in. We're going to discuss healthy tips, healthy holiday tips over the course for this month. So I've got some really great things outlined here. So I'm going to talk about them one by one. First one, this is my all-time favorite, and I personally do this for myself, and I have done this for myself for years, and it's part of my personal routine. So bringing a healthy dish to share at a party or a get-together. So a lot of the time when we're working with our clients, a lot of clients, especially in the early stages of, changing and transitioning mindset and habits, one of the biggest concerns is showing up to somebody else's house and then having to, of course, deal with the non-healthy options that are there. And when you're trying to work on changing your habits and the things that you're doing, one of those boundaries that you're drawing for yourself is to then, execute, your word, moving you towards your goals and sticking to the things that you're trying to make changes with, and honoring that by supporting yourself. You can take a healthy dish to a party, a friend's place, especially then that for sure you have something there that you can eat. I personally, from past experience, or we're going to talk about people pushing food on you and drinks and things like that in a moment, but in the past, I'm always quite clear on my boundaries when it comes to food. So of course I don't put up with the alcohol pushers and the food pushers and all that kind of stuff, but I also make sure that I take a healthy dish and something that I know that I can eat and enjoy, and I can be comfortably safe with that. And that's been a long-standing thing that I've done personally, and something that we encourage our clients to do as well. Okay, next one, of course, another favorite of mine is eating mindfully. So just remember that it takes approximately 20 minutes for your brain to realize, once you've started to eat, that it's full, like you've reached a satisfactory level of completeness. And a lot of the time what happens is, and we'll talk about this in a second because we're going to talk about another point around around making sure that you eat throughout the day so that you don't end up being ravenous when you go to someone's party or dinner party or whatever the case is, and then you eat the whole bowl of chips and a whole bowl of cheesies on top of that. So eating mindfully is super key. So making sure that when you're sitting down to have a meal, or you're going to like a party that's going to have like a buffet of stuff. Just take some things off the buffet, off the plates at the dinner table, and then eat slowly and mindfully so that it gives your appetite and your brain time to connect and catch up. So chew your food. Don't drink a lot of fluids when you're eating. That can really actually hinder digestion and not be so great. So when you're eating, make sure again that you're just taking the time chewing your food and going slow with the foods that are on your plate, because then you'll have a better connection between that brain and that gut to say, okay, I'm done, enough's enough, and you won't overindulge and overeat and then feel really crappy after. This is another favorite of mine. Of course, the whole list I'm giving you is my favorites, and the whole list is something that I execute personally throughout my lifestyle period. But when I go and do parties and things like that, filling up on vegetables and meat proteins is super key. So meat proteins and vegetables. So your vegetables have all your nutrient dense vitamins and minerals, and of course fiber. So fiber is going to make you feel more comfortably full and really helps with your digestion. But also eating your meat proteins, and we're big on getting our clients to eat at least 3 meat proteins a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But if you're at a party, a buffet at a party, whatever, start with your proteins. So get your proteins on your plate first, so your meat proteins, and then collect up the vegetables. Eat these foods first, and then save just a little bit if there's like a special treat you want on at the party or whatever, but then you're not overindulging, right? So you're filling yourself up with the good stuff, and then you can have something like a small dessert or something that you desire afterwards. Okay, another really good tip is don't skip meals. So skipping meals to save your calories, quote unquote, for later will absolutely backfire on you. This makes you very hungry and ravenous, and this plays horrible games with blood sugar and cortisol levels. So just make sure that you stick to a regular food schedule throughout your day, especially if your party is at night and you're going to someone's place that's going to have buffet or a sit-down dinner or whatever the case is. And note, even if you're going to someone's party, but they're not serving, as an example, say like dinner, and they're going to be serving appetizers and treats and all that kind of I was going to say all that kind of junk. It usually is junk. So you know where my brain goes. But what I would recommend doing if it's that kind of a party, definitely sticking to your normal eating schedule. Especially if you're working with us, you're already a client, that we're breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then snacks in between. And then in this case, I would have a good healthy dinner, and then you go to your party, and then you're not ravenous, your blood sugar isn't low, and you're not gonna just dive in and eat the whole container of cheesies and the whole plate of appetizers or snacks or whatever the case is. So controlling that is super key. Okay, drinking smart. This one's I do not drink, so I'm not whatever. I think maybe if anything I would have 1 drink a year, but if anything I do not drink at all. So when it comes to alcoholic drinks, a lot of our clients do drink, and a lot of people they just drink in general. So What we recommend around this, and to remind you that alcohol is essentially empty calories, especially ones that contain all the various high sugars, including wine. So try drinking a glass of water in between if you're having a couple alcoholic beverages. Try adding, if you really have to have the wine, try adding some sparkling water to your wine glass. Water it down with some ice cubes. You can even enjoy a festive holiday mocktail instead of an alcoholic beverage, a decaf coffee, a warm tea, things like that. So we would just really recommend watching the drinking over the course of the holidays, because a lot of the time between that and then the junk food, that's where a lot of the weight gain comes on. With the weight gain, you're going to get obviously the bloating, the higher inflammation in the body, and then the issues with, there could be issues with the digestion and elimination, and then it takes your body, up to a whole month to recover from that. So you'd be recovering, halfway from January into February. Okay, so watching your portions. So portion control is super key, and this one kind of ties into the points where I said, don't skip meals and fill up on proteins and vegetables and eating mindfully and things like that. This one kind of ties into itself. So watching your portions. There's nothing wrong with, indulging in some of your favorite foods, but just watching your portion sizes are like super key, and trying not to overdo it. Now, I just want to kind of cue in for a minute where I was talking about how like your brain and your gut, it takes about 20 minutes to get into cue where it says, hey dude, stop eating, I'm full. So if there's like a 20-minute window as an example here, I'm going to remind you that junk foods, like your alcohols, any of the junk foods that are not whole foods, all those wheat based products and all the the hors d'oeuvres and the candies and all like these things that you see at parties are not nutrient dense. So I want to warn you here. This is so key. Your body will not give you the cue that it's full and you need to shut that shit down. And I'll explain why, because nutrients in foods, so nutrient dense foods, will give you that cue. It will tell you, hey, it's time to shut that down, you're finished. Whereas nutrient voided foods will not do that. That's why you can sit there and eat a whole bag of chips, or that whole thing of cheesies, or that whole box of chocolates, or whatever the case is, because the nutrients in the food that gives the cues are not there. So I want you to be super careful of the portion sizes and what you're putting into your body during that time. So it goes back, looping back around to making sure that you're eating your proteins and your vegetables first. Don't skip any meals throughout the day to save calories to go to this party or event. Make sure you eat throughout the day so that when you go to the party, you feel good, you don't feel ravenous, your blood sugar is stable, so that's a hormonal thing. You want to make sure the hormones are stable. And of course, like I said, eating mindfully. Okay. So the next points are, we've got finding healthy swaps. So considering trying a healthier version of your favorite holiday foods. For example, instead of like deep frying the turkey, bake it instead. I know a lot of people still bake it rather than deep frying it in what those fryer things called. Or as an example, swapping out, say, things that have high inflammatory ingredients in them. So as an example, we talk a lot about in our programs, gluten-free. So If some of your products have gluten in them, swap out stuff for gluten-free. We talk a lot in our programs about dairy-free. So swapping out items that have dairy in them for dairy-free items, as an example. If you're hosting a party, serve up more healthier dishes. Pinterest is a great resource for healthier salads, or salad ideas, sorry. Crustless quiches, also gluten-free things like lasagna or gluten-free pastas. When you're searching on Pinterest, as an example, and we tell our clients this, is to use keywords such as paleo. I love using the keyword paleo when I'm searching recipes because I know that I'm going to get anti-inflammatory choices. So no dairy, no gluten, no corn products, no soy. So none of that's going to come up in recipes. So that's actually a quick little tip. Sticking to your exercise over the holidays. We just introduced a nice quick little plan called 30-30-30, which gives you 30 workouts for $30 over 30 days. So if you're struggling with that, connect with us about the program plan. But if you're on a program plan and exercise is part of your routine, don't give up your exercise routine during the holiday times. There's been times where before I've gone to my mom and dad's for Christmas, I've got up and I did my workouts in the morning, and then I headed to mom and dad's for brunch and dinner and things like that. And then, if you're home for the day and you're not doing a lot of traveling around, if you go out for a walk in the afternoon or in the mid-morning after Christmas breakfast, or whatever you do, whatever traditions you run, take a midday walk, get out and move your body, but not forgetting to move your body throughout the holidays. A lot of people just shut everything down that is anything to do with health, wellness, eating properly, when in fact it should be the other way around. We should be really health conscious during these times and really looking at our habits and the things that we're working on or that we want to work on. Don't just shove them off and say, I'll just wait till after the new year, because that's where we're just falling back into that typical, like I mentioned in my post, that typical on again, off again kind of stuff. Okay, guys? All right, so just a couple more good points here. This one's my favorite, saying no to food pushers. So one of the biggest things that we teach our clients to do is, saying no to people who are trying to push alcoholic drinks on you during this time. People who are trying to push their food on you. Oh, why don't you want to eat that? Oh, come on, just have some. Those type of people. That can come from colleagues. That can come from friends. If that's coming from friends, that they're not your friends. And then, family members too. Like if you're on a path and you're trying to make changes, your new changes in your habits are vulnerable. And we call this like setting boundaries for ourselves, and executing those boundaries and communicating and verbalizing them and standing by what our values are and our beliefs around the changes that we're trying to make. So saying no to food pushers, you don't need to explain yourself. Saying no. Feeling pressure to eat unhealthy foods, just say no. You can politely decline, no thanks, I'm good, whatever. Sometimes I've noticed when, over time where I've been like, yeah, you know what, no thanks, whatever. I've had to say it a few times, especially in situations when alcohol is involved. I've had to be quite, I guess, politely abrupt a lot about that, depending on the situation where I've been, but I've had to be like, yep, no, and then I've had to repeat myself, a number of times afterwards, but eventually the message gets across. Watching where you stand at your parties. So try not to stand too close to the food table. Okay, who does that? Who can mindlessly sit there and talk and then eat and then realize that you've eaten the whole bowl of jubes? So you want to just make sure, where you're standing, that you're not mindlessly munching on things that are, right next door to that right reaching hand. Okay, guys. So just being careful about that. Position yourself far away from the food table. And like I said, even just if you're holding, an alcohol-free beverage and you're sipping on that, or enjoying a mocktail, your hand is busy and you can socialize and enjoy the company. Look at things in a different perspective, as opposed to like, finding joy in eating and then stuffing yourself. Find the joy with the company that you're visiting and that you get to exchange energy with. Okay, upgrade your sweets. When the holiday season rolls around, temptations are everywhere, but you can still enjoy festive treats without completely wrecking your health goals. So a lot of the things that we've talked about to this point ties into this particular point of upgrading your sweets. And I already did mention things like, gluten-free and dairy-free, and then, checking out Pinterest to see what other kinds of fun, healthy ideas are out there. So, swapping things out, especially with like fake artificial sweeteners, with real sugars like honey that have nutrients in them, as an example. When you're trying to, there are so many options out there now when it comes to baking your goods now. Even there's no baked goods, as in you don't need to bake the goods. We make a lot of our special treats from things like almond flour and 70% or higher sweetened chocolate with natural nuts, maybe a little bit of dates, things like that. So it just really depends. And Penny and I are, running the cooking classes now, and on our YouTube channel as well. We've posted so far a lot of the videos are around making some healthier treats, but Pinterest is a great resource. Okay, and making sure that when you're focusing on doing your shopping, whether that's your holiday grocery shopping or in general, if you're kind of in that marathon trying to get things done for your Christmas shopping or holiday shopping, make sure that you do not shop hungry. This one is super important. So making sure, again, that you're sticking to your regular food schedule. Make sure you eat before you go shopping anywhere. And that way you won't get hangry. I'm famous for that. I'm one of those people that has to make sure that she eats on a regular basis, or I've got that irritability or that hangriness that can kick in very quickly for me. So again, just making sure that you're eating at regular increments. And if you're going shopping and you're going to be a few hours out on the road, take some snacks with you. Put them in. I have a portable lunch bag, and I put my snacks in that. I also have an extra big purse, and I throw snacks and I top up on my water, and I put that all in my big handbag so that I always have stuff on me. I'm never stranded with having to resort to something that doesn't serve my body. But I also know what my values are, and I also know what my intentions are towards the goals that that I'm working on and maintaining, because this has been a lifestyle for me for 25 years. Okay, guys, so those are my super top tips for this. I hope this really helps you. Let me comment below, give me a thumbs up, let me know that this really helped you. And then we'll see you back here next week for some more great topics. Just remember that we polled or did a survey for everybody to participate in what the topics are going to be for the month. So we got some good topics coming up based on the things that you guys have chosen. Okay, guys, so that is me for tonight. And again, let me know if you guys enjoyed all the things and what your takeaways were from the talk tonight. All right, guys. So I'm just looking for my exit. Facebook has like completely changed the all the how it's set up in the lives now and everything. So I went in and I'm on here now, and I'm like, great. So how do I, just end my video? All right, guys. So have a great night. Take care. Bye for now. Well, I'm still recording because I can't find the log off button. Do 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 do. This is awesome. Thanks, Facebook. I appreciate this. Well, thanks guys for listening. Thanks, Kathy. Yep, still looking for the log off button. They totally changed everything on here. Yeah, it's definitely not here. Do 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 do. Well, if anybody has any questions for me, they can post them. I don't know. Nope. Oh, I found it. Bye, guys.